Hello everybody. Today we are going to be making a Victorian witch hat. This is going to be a little bit lighter. I'm not going right into Halloween just yet, so it'll be a nice little, like a kind of a fall, a lighter version of a witch hat. And if you guys hear something in the background, that is my air conditioner. It is getting very hot up here in the high Sierras. And so let's go ahead and get started. What I did was cut a strip that is about 3 feet long, and you'll, depending on the size of the hat that you want, you'll have to figure out the length. And so what I'm doing now is adding some lace with some hot glue. Now normally if I was making this for a show or a booth, I would be hand stitching all of this, but or sewing machine. But I want to make it easier and just more accessible for everybody. I figure most of you probably already have a glue gun, and so we'll just get that glued all the way across. I've got some more of this kind of a crocheted lace. I got it from the Dollar Tree, and they always have a couple of pretty decent ribbons and lace there at the Dollar Tree. I'm going to go ahead and hot glue this on, and that is to cover that one edge. It's a little bit thicker, so it's going to give me nice coverage. And so now with this, okay, so I wasn't thinking. I just went ahead and glued this all flat, and I could have gathered both of these laces. So I made a little fix here in a little bit, but it ended up working in my favor, and I'll show you why here in just a minute. I'm doing a running stitch just to get this all gathered because we are going to be making the bottom base of the hat. And so this is just a really simple, like a loose stitch. Not, I'm not going too tight. It's just, maybe about a 1/2 inch stitch there. Now I'm just going to pull some of the gather and see what I'm working with, if I want it loose or tight, and also depending on the overall size of the hat. So here's what I'm talking about. Instead of gluing the gather, with the lace, I am going to do a running stitch along this bottom to pull it and make a gather. And what that ends up doing is creating some stability for the brim of this hat, so it doesn't kind of flop over. Because of that second gather, it adds some stiffness. So it did end up working in my favor. Overall, I got the look that I was going for, and so I'm pretty happy with it. Now I'm just going to pull both sides and tie them together. Let's move on to the top of the hat. This is just a standard piece of paper, and actually it's not like an 8x10. I think this is a 9x12. And so what I do is I just take that corner, fold it over, and then do a little bit of a curve or a half circle, I guess you could say. And I do kind of eyeball these hats. If I am making a lot of like hats or dolls with hats, I do create a pattern. That way I can use it throughout the season, and I don't have to keep creating new hats and new sizes. Just makes things a lot easier. But for this, I'm just going to wing it and go ahead and get this cut out. I'm going to make it really simple. I'm just going to hot glue those edges together. Sometimes I sew it just straight across, and that creates a really nice seam. But for this, I'm just going to go ahead, hot glue it. It makes it really fast and easy. In order to get to the top part of this hat to lay flat, I just snip about, looks like about an inch and about a ½ inch up, and it doesn't really matter, you know, it doesn't matter if you do it wide or close together, it's still going to lay the same. And so there's this, there's several ways to do this, to make these hats. I've seen so many variations. It can be quite complicated, and also it can be a little bit on the easier side, like what I'm doing. So I'm just taking my stuffing. I do like to fluff my stuffing before I add it. It can get a little bumpy depending on the quality of stuffing you have. This is a little bit better quality. It stays where you put it. It's got a lot of nice like buoyancy to it, and some of the cheaper ones can kind of slide around on you and get kind of weird. But this is a really good one. It's my favorite stuffing. It's pretty standard. You can find it anywhere. But so now I'm just going to hot glue those little snippets down straight on to the base. So here's what it looks like all put together, and there's the bottom. And so you can add a piece of material, like a round material, to that bottom if you want to finish it off and make it look really nice, if it's going to be standing alone. But so now I've got this memory book paper. I thought it was really nice for this project because I'm keeping it on the lighter side. This has a nice kind of floral, a little bit Victorian looking, and so that is a crow stamp with my black ink, and I'm just going to use my glue stick and stick that to a piece of chipboard. I do like to use chipboard anytime I'm making tags or little cards. It just really is a nice thin cardboard. It's great. I get it on Amazon in a stack. I use it all the time. I'm using some brown ink just to kind of age those edges and define the space, I guess you could say, and add some interest. Okay, my new favorite medium is this coconut fiber. I got it at the Dollar Tree. These are for planters, like hanging planters, and you usually get them during the spring. I don't know if they have them there now during the summer, but they probably do. And I'm sure you can get these anywhere, really, any garden center. But yeah, so my new favorite filler is this stuff. Instead of using moss, it is so fantastic. When you tear it apart like this, it really holds its shape very, very well. It's clean. It doesn't fall apart and fall all over the, the floor. It's just really, really great to work with. And what I want to try with this is, you've seen me in the past make my own ribbon with acrylic paint, so I dye my own fabric with acrylic. I want to try dipping this into a watered down acrylic paint and see if it takes the dye. So throughout the holiday season, I can maybe, dye this fiber black or gray for whatever I'm using. And so I'm going to be trying that out and seeing how that goes. I'm kind of excited about it. And so, okay, I'm just going to hot glue this around the brim, and then we're going to get this embellished. Besides the card there, I'm going to add a couple more things. I've got a scrap piece of lace and some buttons. I'm just going to try to figure out the size and colors of these buttons and how I want them to look on this hat. So what I end up doing with the first largest button is cover it with paper. I don't even know if I've really done this before. I've seen it so many times on Pinterest, and I always thought it was so interesting. But I think this might be the first time where I've covered a button. Yeah, so I'm just going to glue that down and then trim around the edge. I do end up using a little hot glue on that because I didn't want to wait for the regular glue to dry and it's all sliding around on me. So I just kind of pinched those edges together with a little bit of hot glue. And so I'm going to take some of my very dark coffee and water mixture and add that on. Make sure if you have any kind of coffee or water mixture that you store it in the refrigerator, because it will turn on you. And so now I'm just going to thread this button. I do end up aging it just a little bit more. I really like to thread my buttons. It's kind of become a little bit of a pet peeve of mine to see buttons added to projects without thread on them. I just feel like something's missing, so I always do that. Okay, I'm doing a running stitch through the center of this really pretty lace that I had dyed in a previous project. So I had this scrap and I thought it would be great for this project. Okay, and so I'm going to sew that button right onto there like a little rosette, I guess you can say. And so I'm going to hot glue all the rest of this stuff on. After I get those pieces on there, I'm just going to add a little bit more of the coconut fiber. Now, there's so many different ways you can decorate these witch hats. It's almost endless, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be doing a lot more throughout the next few months. But this is just kind of a little intro. I wanted to use this coconut fiber and see what I could do with it. And I wanted to do a lighter witch hat. And so I'm just going to kind of fill in some more of that space and give it a little bit of flair. So now I have a tulle. It was off of a spool of tulle. 3 pieces, and I don't know what length that is. It's probably about 1.5 feet. And I didn't want it to hang down too low, but I wanted to be able to see it just kind of peeking out from underneath that hat. I'm going to tie a knot with just a little spot of glue to hold it into place. No big deal, really quick. And I do tie a short little bow. I think it's really cute. I didn't want to take away from the hat itself, but I did want to add just a little bit of something to the bottom. That's it, guys, for this project. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.